seafood, so either shrimp or fish or something like that. And then on Sundays, the chicken, because sometimes you'd have just your immediate family, or other times you'd have your other extended family over.
If you kill a cowman, they hang him on the gate or something like that in them days, because the cowman takes a long time to die. You see, you hang him out like overnight. It was like mostly on Saturday, because the cowman was a Sunday dinner. Take him down on Sunday morning, and you clean him up and scoop it out. All the rest of it was meat, plenty meat. And you cut his toenails, or whatever you call one. And scrape it and skin it and cut it up and cook it in a stew. Just about anything vegetables would, you would call, that's what they put in the turtle. They cook that thing for a long time because most turtles are tough. And you cook the turtle and serve it with potato salad and rice. And you'd also have wine. You better not miss wine if you're going to have cowman. But after they get through eating that, they sit down at the table and play cards. And that was, what my family had like, card game. But I never went for card. I like piano.
And my aunt, who was one of the best cooks in the 7th Ward, everybody knew her. She said, the only way to cook a meal is with a highball next to you. She cooked every day with a big old highball. I'm not kidding you.
Yes, they were different, multiculturally marginalized. And they knew it, they weren't blind. So they brought up their young ones to feel that they were a special kind.
When you think about Creoles, you think about beautiful women. With the job I had, I've been to a whole lot of places. And there's no women like the women in New Orleans.
On a demandé non Zozo, pourquoi non Zozo, tout le temps vous avez les petites jeunes filles, pourquoi? Non Zozo a dit, mais j'aime bien sentir le perfume de l'aliment.
Creoles work hard, but also play hard. They love to party. And at the end of any big party or wedding, as the second line, when it's ready to leave, when the band starts dun 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 dun, it's dun 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 right out the door. We start second line out the door, and some people say you may look white or you dance black. Creoles can dance, have a lot, sense of rhythm.
Oh, we had dance halls, the Roof Garden, the Gens Amis, Longshoremen's Hall, San Jacinto Club, Bricklayers Hall, the Autocrat Club. We loved to dance.
We used to knock some cakes.
We didn't have a radio because we had a phonograph at our house with a round thing made like a Coca-Cola can. The horn was bigger than the box. The little box big like this. But the horn was so big, that's why you had all the noise. You'd wind that thing up and it would play music, We had one record that everybody remembers, Casey Joe. All the neighborhood children could come in our backyard and play that record. And I was so sorry. My mama made that record disappear because she got sick of it.
Anybody who worked at World Lines knew my dad. And you knew that's where he had been because you see that flat bag with nothing but records could be in something that flat. Anytime he wasn't working and he was home, he had the operas playing. And everybody knew it. The whole neighborhood could hear the beautiful, well, we thought it was beautiful, opera. And those days you didn't have air conditioning, so it traveled. Every time it rained and Bricklayers came home, he came straight home and he had his opera on.
Now, during my grandmother's time, back in the days of ragtime and early jazz, Creole mothers sat next to their daughters in the dance halls. And the young men would bring big bags of fresh fruit. Now, if you wanted to dance with a particular girl, a guy would go over and give a mother a fruit. And then you'd go off and dance. A girl's popularity was determined by the size of the bag of fruit that her mother brought home after the dance.
Casey Joe. Na 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 na. Casey Joe. Casey Joe. No, hush your children and stop your crying, 'cause you got another papa on the Salt Lake line. Oh, Casey Joe. Got another papa.
So be it, sighed the old man as he stood before the lad. And then he began to tell him of all the things he had. You're clear of mind and quick of wit. You have talents and many skills. But all that ain't nothing if you deny your will. The will to try harder, learn more, give more than just a pittance, to see a job that must be done, going and doing it without resistance.
Mais comment ça va, chien? Ça va?
Oui, ça va, comme ça. J'ai un petit mal à la tête.
Un petit stress. Oui, un petit stress. Mais vous savez, il y a un bal ce soir à la club de Richard, des haricots.
Oh, mais haricots,
ça bonne musique.
C'est la bonne musique.
La guitare, le frottoir.
Oui.
Toutes ces bonnes choses. Oh, la valse, oui.
But when we came up, they spoke Creole and English. They incorporated these words into everything. I mean, hardly a sentence came out that didn't have a Creole word. I can't say French because I'm not that good with French, you know, to know whether it was proper French or Creole.
Many of the Creole idioms and expressions derive from the French, particularly those with make, because the French make a lot of things, and so do we. For example, we make groceries. Instead of going grocery shopping or buying groceries, we make them. Other things that we make include making a certain age, making lesson. My grandmother would always say, you know, if you made your lesson instead of doing homework. And so those are just a few of them.
I do know that there's a little difference between the French and the Creole language. A glass, you call that a verre, V-A-R-E. That would be for your drinking water. And that same thing is called val for snake. If a snake came by and said, poor gal, the val, that means be careful. Poor gal means be careful.
When a je ne sais pas is French, they wouldn't say that. They would say pas connais, which means I don't know. I guess it means it because that's what they say in Creole. And you would pick up couillon, you know. Luke, he ain't too right. He's a couillon.
You can tell a culture by its language, because just as Eskimos have numerous words for snow, you know, we have one, snow, because it doesn't do that here, but we have numerous words for minding other people's business. Mashuke, kont, doorpop, you know, and the list goes on, a few others. So there's a lot of that. People, I guess we have natural curiosity as Creole, so we always want to know what's going on.
But when we came to New Orleans, they wouldn't let my brother and I take French or Spanish at the prep. We had to take Latin. I didn't know either one. I could speak it a little bit, but not enough. I couldn't read it. But my father and my mother could read it, and they could speak it. It's both Spanish and French.
The main thing that we lost as a Creole is our language. Because I know 93 years ago they stopped teaching French among the Fabosses and the Gilliards in my family, and I'm quite sure it's almost the same in most of the other families, because most of the people, they didn't want to be second or third class citizens, you know, other than what they were identified with. So I think it's going to continue.
Oh, I tell them, when I see Creole people that I know, I'll say, oh, comment ça va, cher, ça va bien? You know, that's how you're doing. You're feeling good, you know. That was an old saying when you did see people. I know my mom and them, comment ça va?
I had 4 children I had to support. Couldn't make enough money to pay for somebody to take them and take care of them, so I sold lottery. I was a lotto vendor. Every nickel that you played on the lottery, you could win $9, which we call it the lotto. The lotto consists of 12 numbers on a list. And if you got your 3 numbers, which most gigs was 3 numbers, now they did have 4-number gigs and 5-number gigs, but you won less money. We had different numbers you played for different things. For instance, 41144 was played for the water gig, if you dreamt about water. 134445 was the silver money gig. And people really survived and fed their families on winning that little $9 for every nickel you played.
And in those days, people were very poor but very proud. So we didn't have the money to pay carpenters. And when we built a house, which my house on Broad Street was built by relatives and friends, which are all Creoles. They came out on the weekends to build the house. And our house took about 6 months to work on. But all my uncles and relatives of our near family helped to build that house, and it's still on Broad Street. But the Angelettas and my family were friends, and they also helped to build the house. And my uncle and them would, in turn, help them to build their house.
It was not uncommon. If you would build a house, you would buy your materials, and your brothers, if you had a lot of brothers, you were lucky. My husband's family bricked our house. And we broke the tradition by having a contractor to add on. You know, it was family tradition that friends would help you on weekends to build your addition and to brick. Well, you know, I was teaching at the time, and that's one of the parts of the culture I didn't go for. I mean, I admired it, but it wasn't for me.
So I've told my father-in-law, I said, let's build myself a home. Me being in charge of what, about 6 or 7 bricklayers, I said, how's about coming and giving me a day's work on my house? Well, they came, I supplied them with beer and sandwiches on the weekend, and they worked me about 9 months on my house, completed it. And then I left my house and went help them build their house up in it. But I think this home that I built will outlast me, my wife, and all my children. It will still be here.
My boy, sit yourself down. Let me tell you something. You from New Orleans, the 7th Ward, on Zaga Street, the Gulf Coast. You're just as good as anyone. No, you better than most. Your complexion will get you in, but then it can keep you out. You must believe in yourself and not give in to doubt.
There was a school around the farm. There was a place for blacks. The condition of the school for blacks, you can imagine what it was back in 1933 and 34. The heat came from low potbelly stoves. Normally you would burn coal or something like that, but the children of the school had to go into the bayou on the riverfront, retrieve wood to burn in those burners to keep those rooms comfortable. On the other hand, the white kids had steam heaters.